In an economy absolutely buzzing with tech advancements, financial shifts, and political debates, an event that occurred on August 8, 2024 could completely reshape the landscape of business and technology. On that date, US District Judge Amit Mehta ruled that Google was acting as a monopolist, confirming what many had suspected for years. The tech giants were no longer just companies, but gatekeepers with the power to reshape entire industries. Google's path to monopoly isn't unique, nor is it the first time that we've seen it. Throughout history, we've seen a pattern of dominant companies taking control in ways that stifle competition. Consider AT&T and Standard Oil in the 20th century, companies that controlled vast portions of their industries. The government eventually stepped in to break them up, seeing that they'd grown too powerful. Back then, monopolies controlled essential commodities like oil and communication, which are still critical today. But Google and other tech giants control information, attention, and even how we interact with one another. So why now? For years, market assumptions held that regulators would look the other way. But this verdict marks a significant shift. It's not just Google in the crosshairs. The ripple effects of this case extend to every giant corporation in America. The rise of monopolies isn't accidental. It's a feature of today's market. For large companies, becoming one is not just the best way to make a profit, it's the only way. Tech companies like Nvidia or Google dominate markets where they're often the sole provider of complex proprietary products. Nvidia is a prime example of a modern monopoly in the tech world, and its market control goes far beyond selling graphic cards or gaming. The company dominates the AI chip market, specifically in high-performance GPUs used for machine learning and AI development. In recent years, the demand for NVIDIA's chips has skyrocketed, fueled by the AI boom and advancements in large-scale data processing. This allowed NVIDIA to charge up to $25,000 per chip, such as their flagship H100 processor, which costs a fraction of that to manufacture. With no viable competitors for cutting-edge AI computing, NVIDIA has effectively set the rules for pricing. One of NVIDIA's key advantages is its proprietary software platform, CUDA, which has become the industry standard for AI and machine learning. Now, CUDA isn't just a software. It's an entire ecosystem that developers rely on with tools and frameworks tailored specifically for NVIDIA's hardware. Because of CUDA's widespread adoption, companies that invest in NVIDIA's hardware are effectively locked in, as transitioning to another chip manufacturer would mean that they have to retool their entire software from scratch. This creates a formidable barrier for competitors who might otherwise challenge NVIDIA's dominance. Intel and AMD, two of NVIDIA's closest rivals, struggle to compete in this space because they lack comparable software ecosystems. NVIDIA's monopoly in AI computing has significant consequences for various industries. Tech giants like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Tesla completely rely on NVIDIA GPUs to power their AI research and cloud computing services. Without alternative suppliers, these companies have little to no choice but to accept NVIDIA's pricing, which ultimately drives up the costs that may be passed down to consumers. Additionally, NVIDIA's control over both hardware and software in the AI chip market stifles innovation. Potential competitors find it difficult to enter the market because NVIDIA has a head start with CUDA and its dominance in research infrastructure. The impact of NVIDIA's monopoly is even more pronounced in the AI arms race. As a global interest in AI accelerates, companies worldwide, ranging from startups to tech behemoths, are all vying to secure NVIDIA's limited supply of AI chips. The shortage of these high-demand chips has created a seller's market for NVIDIA, allowing them to increase prices and reinforce their position at the top. This scarcity has also heightened competition among tech firms and nations alike, as access to NVIDIA's chips directly impacts their ability to develop and deploy advanced AI models. In this environment, NVIDIA's monopoly poses risks beyond business competition. It also has geopolitical implications. With countries like China investing heavily in AI, the US has restricted NVIDIA from selling its most advanced chips to Chinese companies, essentially using NVIDIA's monopoly as a strategic lever.
Pull the lever, Kronk. Wrong lever!
The control NVIDIA holds over AI technology now intersects with national security interests. as access to their chips determines the competitive edge in AI advancements on a global scale. The NVIDIA example illustrates a new kind of monopoly, one where control extends beyond market share to influence over entire industries, nations, and technological trajectories. Their dominance isn't achieved through anti-competitive agreements, but by pioneering a product so advanced that competitors can't keep up. In some respects, NVIDIA's position as a monopoly has allowed it to push forward cutting-edge technology. But as NVIDIA becomes indispensable, it raises a central question. Should one company hold such a pivotal role in the future of technology? And what are the risks if that power remains unchecked? But Google's monopoly works differently. Google isn't just the biggest search engine because it's the best, especially as it has drastically degraded as of late. Between the dead internet theory, political manipulation showing very one-sided search results, and spamming you with paid links and advertisement, it's a fall from grace. By paying companies like Apple billions of dollars to make Google search the default, they effectively squeezed out alternatives before users even had a choice. Most of us don't change the default search engine on our phones, so this deal left few competitors with a fair chance. This type of monopoly, where a company uses its power to prevent others from even entering the market, crossed the line under antitrust law. These distribution agreements are what the judge ruled against, seeing them as an abuse of power. To understand why Google's monopoly is illegal, it helps to know more about antitrust laws. The Sherman Act, passed in 1890, is one of the first laws in the U.S. to limit monopolistic business practices. Section 2 of the Act prohibits any attempt to monopolize a market, making it illegal to use unfair practices to maintain dominance. Google's agreements with Apple and other companies fall into the section because they prevent fair competition. Now, not every monopoly is actually illegal. When a company dominates by offering the best products or services, it's considered fair game. But when dominance is maintained by suppressing the competition, like paying off competitors or blocking market entry, antitrust laws come into play. This distinction matters because it separates companies that grow through innovation from those who use power to stay on top. The surge in monopolies can be traced back to three main factors. First off, there's more markets to dominate. Today's products and services are highly specialized. Unlike physical products like steel beams, tech services like search engines and AI chips are complex and costly to develop, making it easier for one company to just completely dominate. Second is the buyout boom. Many startups today aim not to be the next Google, but to be acquired by Google. Mergers and acquisitions have tripled in recent years, allowing big companies to simply buy out the competition. Food industry giant Mars recently acquired Canova, makers of Pringles, consolidating an already tight market. Third is private equity. Private equity firms increasingly buy up small local businesses, consolidating regional markets in a way that creates localized monopolies without attracting major regulatory scrutiny. For example, private equity firms have acquired a large number of veterinarian practices, dental clinics, and urgent care facilities across the U.S. Companies like Blackstone and KKR have brought up hundreds of local medical practices and service providers, consolidating administrative tasks like accounting and marketing to cut down costs and increase control. These firms may not dominate on a national scale, but within local markets, they can effectively eliminate competition. For instance, if a private equity firm owns most of the veterinarian practices in a city, pet owners in that area might see fewer options, higher prices, and potentially lower quality of care. There's also the elephant in the room. The FTC and the Department of Justice oversee monopolies, but their power has been limited by budget cuts and a revolving door of leadership. Many regulators end up working for the very corporations they were once tasked with regulating. Current FTC Chair Lina Khan, however, has taken a hard stance, which is likely why Google is facing this judgment. For consumers, monopolies limit choices and often drive up prices. Beyond higher prices, monopolies impact innovation. When companies face competition, they must innovate to stay relevant. But in monopolistic industries, these incentives fade. Google's dominance over search has arguably led to less innovation, as they face no significant threat. For workers, monopolies have an even harsher impact. In industries controlled by just a few companies, they have very limited choices for employment. This allows employers to set lower wages, reduce benefits, and limit job mobility. A recent example is the case of non-compete agreements, where employees in the monopolistic sectors are often forced to stay within the company or industry for years after leaving. The Google ruling showed that this tide may be turning. There are opposing views about whether monopolies can be good for consumers. Some argue that monopolies allow companies to scale, which can reduce costs and improve efficiency. But there's a catch here. While some consumers enjoy lower prices temporarily, the long-term effects are often less favorable. Take streaming services, for example. When Netflix dominated, users had a wide range of shows all in one place for a reasonable price. But as more companies enter the market, that landscape fragmented and prices rose. The recent verdict against Google is likely to set a precedent for other cases. Companies like Meta, Amazon, and Apple are likely next, as their market dominance comes under scrutiny. The tech industry is bracing for impact.
This is the captain. Brace for impact.
And depending on how things play out, we could see significant changes. In some cases, companies may be forced to split up into smaller entities, much like AT&T's breakup back in the 1980s. The verdict against Google signals a critical crossroads in our economy. Will tech giants continue to grow unchecked, or are we finally seeing a new era of accountability in industries where monopolies have long reigned? The outcome could redefine how we interact with technology, where we work, and what choices we have in the future. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. That helps out my small channel so much to get more exposure, so I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.